My dearest brother, if only because our parents never saw fit to give me another, better brother, which was very selfish of them, really. If they weren't interested in making more the slow way, they could have built me in something. But as you are both the only brother I have and the only person remotely clever enough to understand my genius, I suppose you will, regretfully, have to do. Welcome back, travelers, to Legendary Lore, and in case you couldn't tell, we're talking about Gisa and Geralf.
Or Gisa to you.
And Geralf. Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, you got Gisa, you got Geralf. This is Gisa writing to him, right? And she is basically catching everybody up on what's been happening on Thraben. Things have been getting dreadfully dull here in Thraben. I begin to wish you were here, not to make war against me, but as we did when we were children, but those days are properly behind us and better left buried, which is not a thing I would say of very much, but to build new wonders for my darlings to set themselves against. I have very nearly exhausted the living resources of this once virile land, and for the life of me, I can't tell you where all the humans have gone. Certainly a great many of them have died, but as those are still with me, in a slightly more pleasant form, it seems that the fellows should have stayed as well, if only for the ridiculous histrionics and waving about of torches. So, basically, Gisa has no idea that the Harvestide Festival is happening. Like, I decided to place this story right here where I did because it feels so funny to me that there is a literal fight to the death happening while this is taking place. She has no idea that the fate of Innistrad lies in the balance, and she's been writing letters this whole time.
Just living it up, partying with zombies in a church.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically what we find out over time is that she took one of the highest ranking bishops of Thraben, one of like the Lunar Council guys, since they had the most money. She just took one of their places and repurposed it so that she had her own house. She gave herself a palace, essentially.
Fun.
And she's calling out to Geralf, asking him to join her, and she's here. I've called so many rats back from the grave. They dance on the rooftops of Thraben like the most gifted of ballet corps, and they would never stop, not even when they leave their toes and tails behind, rotting away in ceaseless splendor. But what's the point when no one appreciates my efforts? I have achieved our greatest dream, absolute conquest, and found it to be more hollow than we could have ever imagined. Your loving sister, Gisa. And so she's basically saying, and insulting him the entire time, other than calling him dear brother, that she wants him to be a part of it, even though she refers to his things as putrid, pointless constructs of sinew and skin. So she's doing all this. This is what Geralf says. So I kind of skipped a little bit of Gisa's missive. So here's what Geralf tells her. Gisa, if you're unhappy in Thraben, you have no one to blame but yourself and your horrible personality, which has made isolation your inevitability since we were children, as no one can tolerate your company for long while they still draw breath. I've always known that you would only be truly happy among the dead. Well, you have your wish. If you find no joy in it, that is on your own head. Do not contact me again. Geralf. So,
Geralf's done.
Yeah, Geralf's done because he has found his calling. He knows what he wants to do. He knows he's good at it, and he has no desire to work with Gisa at all. And so, basically, we have this like a few things where Gisa throws a fit, and she's throwing plates at walls and stuff like that, and literally no one cares because no one is alive to be there. And she calls him a filthy, talentless, worthless waste of a perfectly good skeleton. And so she basically just stewing there on her own, and she's upset. And this is cool. Empress of the Empty Grave and unchallenged Queen of Thraben, Gisa collapsed into the plush chair that served as her throne, dropped her chin onto her knuckles, and sulked. She is a child. She has no sense of just how selfish she is, how ridiculous her state is, all that stuff. And then we get, I'm going to say this once, Wilhelt. We have Wilhelt's story coming into play here. He does not deserve the respect of anyone calling him by that name. He is Wilham, through and through. So he will be referred to as Wilham. So outside of the walls of Thraben is this massive army of undead led by Wilhelm. He himself is a zombie, which is crazy because he's conscious of it. He's a Lich Lord, basically. And it says that, like, even he has a zombie horse that he's on top of. And it says he could feel her.
Which he also doesn't deserve.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, he can feel Gisa's call from outside of Thraben. That's how powerful her necromantic magic is. She's not even actively trying to pull him towards her, but he can feel that she is like a master of the dead kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here, he and Gisa are meant to be together. What truer proof could there be than the fact that when he died, he rose to the mere memory of her call. Still the man he was in life, still hale and handsome and ready to be wooed in return. He would seek her, he would find her, and he would take her rightful place at her side. Wilhelm, the breathtaking, and Gisa the glorious. Yeah, sorry, buddy. And what's funny is, I mean, now we have this other letter.
Oh, we got a new letter?
Yeah, another letter. Dear Meat Mangler, I knew you were my inferior. I never guessed you could be so cruel. I played your games. I followed your endless, pointless, insufferable rules. I was the best of sisters. The very best of all possible sisters. Far finer than you deserved. And now you would abandon me to boredom and the dust. I want to point out here that you is italicized. And I like to imagine that if this was actually written out as a letter, the words you would be very, very deeply like carved into the paper and like very erratic, large and capitalized, because Gisa is as unhinged as possible. Trust me, I know unhinged, and this is it.
Okay.
And so she basically just keeps insulting him, and then it comes down, she goes, see, I can even treat the dead in my dominion fairly, and you cannot do the same for your own once beloved sister. Some brother you've turned out to be, no longer, in parentheses, no longer yours, Gisa. It's basically, she just wrote a letter of just like being extremely upset. And then, of course,
hey, I'm mad at you.
And then we have Geralt's response. I'm gifted at my art. Even as I admit, you have fled for your own. Our parents passed down good bones and good blood at the same time, and we would have been to be fools indeed to have squandered both. As I know you've made use of our parents' bones against my strident objections, I must assume you're putting their blood to good use as well in your continued domination of Thraben. I admit that your quick thought in claiming the city and Liliana's abandoned thralls impressed me. I would have done the same if you're in your location and possessed of your talents. But I am not jealous. My own work consumes my every waking moment. I'm honestly not sure how I've been able to carve free the time to answer your latest muling missive. No, I will not come to save you from the fruits of your own machinations. No, I will not intervene with this disaster of your own making. You wanted this, in the common parlance. You dug your own grave, and now you get to rot in it. Geralt. So, we have here someone who's completely insane and someone who just wants to be left alone. And it goes back to Gisa. She's upset. She's stalking the place. She's breaking things. She's looking around. And like, see, it says right here, she missed the sound of his droning arrogance. The way he stretched his vowels as if they could stand in judgment by themselves. So like, she's like the arrogance of her brother. She misses. She misses just being angry at him in person. And then she sees in the distance someone riding along the road to Thraben. And she's like, hold up. Because no one's been there. And she sees that this person is not a man. She thought it was a man. But she notices that, like, even though it moves like one, does not have the smoothness of the living. The feet rose and fell in herky-jerky rhythm of the dead. They've arisen. And she's like, I'm intrigued. They're not going to claim my territory. And so she sends out undead bats to deal with it, basically. And so then we got Wilhelm. Wilhelm is just kind of, he's at the gates of Thraben. They're closed and rusted, and he pops them open with his guys, and he goes, "Beautiful Gisa! At long last, your loneliness is at an end, for I have come to join you."
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your clumpy, matted hair.
And then he says that she looks at him, those perfect lips curving into a slow smile, perfect brow wrinkling in what's seen for all the world to be a confusion. "Do I know you?" The Joe of Innistrad. And he says, "Of course you do. I am Wilhelt, the breathtaking, and I have come to take your breath away." I'm still using my breath. "We met in the wood.
Is
Glorious
Wilhelm or
day."
Gisa in this scenario?
What?
My Wilhelm or Gisa in this scenario?
You're definitely Wilhelm. So, it says, "We met in the wood. It was a glorious day, made all the more so by the combined radiance of our presence." She's like, "Oh, Wilhelm! I do remember you. You were that woodsman, pretty woodsman I met while I was searching that ancient barrow for new friends. You were less interesting than any of the dead things I'd found, and I left you to the trees. I have no real room for vanity in my life, so now with Geralt so consumed by the need to swoon over his own genius." And he's just sitting there like, "I came all this way. He would spurn me a second time? After everything I've done for you, I literally died for you." And he's like, "Well, I mean, I didn't literally die for you. A tree fell on me and crushed me, but I came back for you."
It counts.
And so she's like, "Well, it was sloppy work, if you ask me. Any fool can plant a bush, and it takes a master to shape that bush into an elephant." It's like there's just this lack of connection, and Wilhelm just wants her to love him, and she won't. She's like, "I'm sorry, but I just don't have the time for you."
Like,
And
I
so
got stuff to do. I have another angry letter to write.
Yeah, pretty much. And so she says basically that she wants to fight him. And he's like, "Just give me a chance and I'll prove myself to be pure, to be a peer." And she goes, "Very well. I was getting bored." And she goes back in and she slams the door. And they're like basically just sitting there. And so what follows is Wilhelm attempting to siege her entire city himself. And I won't go into the details of it, but it's just a series of funny things happening over and over again, because this guy is a zombie trying to lead an army of zombies against a necromancer who has control of
Zombies.
Yeah. So he's literally going through, and some of his zombies are getting pecked at and pecked away by her bats and ravens that are zombified and just being killed off there. Still others just stop and start killing the zombies around them because they're being controlled by Gisa. And even he can feel her pulling at him with her necromantic power, and him like wanting to like just kind of give in and become a zombie. And he's like, "Wait, no, I don't want that." And so basically all of this happens. And we have more of him getting very upset and like the lover scorned kind of thing. And he like nothing's happening from it. He's useless. Wilhelm is utterly useless as a commander of zombies. And basically what winds up happening is that he says, "Here, beautiful Gisa, I lived for you. I loved for you. I died for you. I rose for you. Everything I've done in my existence has been to earn your regard. Make me the happiest of men or ghouls and be my queen." And he signs this letter, Wilhelt, and he gives it to her. And she looks at it, Wilhelt, as if she would get his name wrong, as if he mattered half as much as he thought he did. The presumption of this man to come to her territory, deny her the ghouls that were so rightfully hers, and then to imply that she could be wrong about as something as basic as a name. She resolved to destroy him. And she comes out, strides out with an axe in her hand. "Gisa!" "Yes, Wilhelm, I know my own name. This is your last chance. Surrender your ghouls and yourself to me, and I'll let you, well, not live. But you get the idea. And he goes, no one has ever resisted my charms. Sweet Wilhelt. There's a first time for everything. And it's at this point that basically Wilhelt just runs away. And this is the final set of letters. My dearest brother, I have concluded that you are lost without me, and need my loving Cicely's presence to give meaning to your wasted life. I am on my way to you now, and should be there inside of the Sennight. Have a room ready for me. I can't wait to see what you've been doing while I was occupied with ruling the city your useless girlfriend abandoned. Once more, your adoring sister, Gisa. Geralt's response, Gisa, what? No, I don't require your presence, which has never been loving, and cannot be called sisterly, and can only be called sisterly only on the technicality that you are unfortunately related to me. You will only disrupt my research. Please, if you must leave Thraven, go anywhere else in all the world. I beg, anywhere but here. Most certainly not yours, Geralt. And that's the story.
I love it. Those two are the best.
I hate Wilhelt. We him say him so much. I hate him so much.
Or Wilhelt.
Trash panda.
Only he was good.
If only.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to go ahead and catch you guys next time. Ricky's hatred for Wilhelt should be already out by now. So, yeah, I've been working on it. So you guys will see that soon. Or before this. And yeah, go ahead and leave a like if you like the video, and subscribe to get back to the story that Gisa and Geralt are completely ignoring.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.